Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for clicking on the video to hang out for a little bit, and welcome. I hope you'll stick around, and I hope you're doing well. So this is a bit of a hobby haul video, hence the title. I know, crazy, right? And the reason I wanted to share this is because these things will either be part of projects coming in the works or that I'm actively working on, or I think are interesting and worth knowing about for yourself if you're into the hobby side of things in this type of fandom. So, with that said, let's just get right to it. This isn't all of it. I will be swapping out as we go, so that'll be fun. In any case, I'll kick things off here with this alcohol ink. Alcohol inks are interesting. I've used them in the past sparingly, not because they're bad, just because I didn't have much use for them. This is neon orange. You can get this from like a hobby store, like a craft store, like a Michael's or a Hobby Lobby or something, or online. And I went with neon orange because I want to try out something. I want to test different ways to do cockpit canopy glass for BattleTech because I want my Alpha Galaxy of Clan Smoke Jaguar to have an orange cockpit glass because orange is my favorite color and I think it'll pair really nicely with the neutral gray. And while I have some ideas to test out, I also want to test out this neon orange over like a glaze over some metallic and other colors to see how it interacts. So I got that on a whim for just testing purposes. If you've never used alcohol inks before, they're really thin, they dry really fast, they even come in metallics. They can be pretty cool to give a shot if you haven't. So with that said, this is a box. I was gonna say a box. It's a bag. Clearly, I picked it up off of a box from Mr. Hobby. It's open and it's got one of its caps missing because this is a bottle top thing you can buy, and I have the blue one on the thinner here. So Mr. Hobby has these tops that they're sold not with the thinner. Unfortunately, you have to get them separately, but they come in this bag of three, and they're color coded. So there is a thinner that will have like a pink label and a yellow label, and those are meant for those bottles. It's silly, perhaps at first, and sounds kind of gimmicky, but honestly, having used this just a little bit to pour out and test it for pre-mixing some paint, uh, pouring with this top, you just twist it, pour, and then twist it, and it's closed, is actually really nice. It sounds super silly to say, right? And to hear, I'm sure it sounds really weird and gimmicky, but I assure you, I'm really glad to have it. And if you use Mr. Hobby's stuff and you're going to get into lacquer painting with their thinner, I recommend going onto Amazon or something, looking for this Mr. Hobby stuff, like bottle top stuff, and uh, waiting for the long shipping time and getting it because it's definitely a worthwhile product, as silly as that sounds. Um, Another product that takes some time to get to you is Tamiya product, at least off of Amazon. Um, Tamiya is more easily accessible, at least around my area of the United States, than GSI Krios's Mr. Hobby stuff. This is not, well, sometimes I see the thinner out there, but I've seen Mr. Hobby stuff, but nowhere near as much as I'll see Tamiya paints and what have you. But what I don't really see is things outside of Tamiya paints. Maybe Tamiya tape, depends on where you're going, what hobby stores, model stores you're going to. But I haven't seen Tamiya putty on the shelves. So this is a newer product to my attention because I didn't know it existed until I started watching some different videos out there to showcase it in its natural use and have showcased it in non-natural use. Tamiya putty is this is the basic type. This is for like seam lines and gaps and stuff. You can fill it in, smooth it out, file it, sand it down smooth, um, and it works from what I've seen pretty well that way. Kind of like what a milliput or a two-part epoxy would do, only it's just one little tube. It's kind of like a Bondo spot putty in that manner, only nowhere near as much. So I want to test this out and try it out in some ways. both intentional and kind of outside the box. I don't foresee it replacing my acetone Bondo spot putty mud that I make to coat 3D prints for layer lines, but who knows? Depending upon ease of use, it could have a place there as well. But I have seen this putty be used and thinned down to the point where you can dab it on like a surface and kind of paint it on a bit, and it leaves kind of like a concrete finish, which is pretty cool. So I look forward to experimenting with some Tamiya putty and potentially getting more in the future. And lastly, before I swap things out, is this Meeden oil paint set. I think I'm saying that right. I don't know. I was on Amazon, as I do, and I was looking for some oddball oil paint colors. Nothing super crazy, just what would be considered normal colors, but I just want to see how cheap they could be on Amazon. Because I have a couple of these more standard tubes. I have 5 of these tubes. And these tubes are 37 mil. The tubes in this paint set are 22 mil, so a little bit smaller. But when I came across this paint set, they come in 12 and 24. I went with 24. I was really kind of surprised because 24 colors was the same cost as 5 of these tubes that I got outside of it, more or less, close enough. Basically 24 different tubes for less than 30 bucks. And you get a selection of colors, both standard and kind of out there. And the reason why we're looking at this oil paint, and the reason why I have far too much oil paint now, is because oil wash, right? Oil wash is a secret weapon amongst some modelers and diorama people out there and what have you. It's great for doing like different terrain features and getting some interest onto your dioramas before going over it and leaving it kind of laying there underneath. It's really good for weathering, really good for panel lining. It's really good stuff, and not only do you get, even for 22 mils, this lake blue, you get plenty of it for our purposes. Not only do you get that, but you are able to control it more than when you get something like this panel line accent color from Tamiya. This is great stuff, don't get me wrong. They work very similarly. This panel liner, I believe, is enamel based, and these oil paints, well, you guessed it, they're oil based. The difference here is we have to make our panel liner, make our wash. So you get your oil paints of choice and you get some odorless mineral spirits, pure mineral spirits, and that's how you make your wash. I'm going to do a video on this in the future where I'll go into more depth. I don't want to bog down this haul video too much, but this is oil white, or white oil paint, I should say, made into a wash. Very robust in its white color, right? Very opaque looking as a wash. Extremely thin, great capillary action. This stuff is really cool, and having this selection of colors means you have more than what's typically offered from other companies that offer panel line accent stuff like that Tamiya stuff I showed you. So getting this Meeden oil paint set, I think, is a pretty good deal, all things considered. You're going to have more than enough oil paint to do plenty of minis or pieces of terrain or what have you, and you get a variety of colors to boot. And if you do happen to run low on one for somehow, you can just get one of these tubes of this particular color you're looking for, and you'll be just fine. One thing about this, before moving on, is that these are standard oil paints. They're not water soluble oil paints. We don't want those. So yeah, oil paints. Pretty nice little paint hack, if you will, for doing some pretty awesome washes. Just be sure you seal your models before you apply the oil paint wash. And I'll go over that, like I said, in more detail in the future in an oil wash video. So I'm going to swap things out, and I will see you in a moment. Alrighty, admittedly, kind of lied there. I'm not going to see you because you're on the other side of the screen and you're watching this after the fact. But here we are with my full weapon set Leo. I did a unboxing video of this in the past. This is the same kit, so nothing new there. But underneath it, I do have a standard Leo kit. So that's what I want to showcase a little bit here with the haul. This is going to be a future project. Both Leos will be. I'm a big fan of the Leo for a mass-produced mobile suit. It's my favorite mass-produced mobile suit, and as a mass-produced suit, I feel it's only proper that I also try and mass-produce some Leos. But I got the full weapon set Leo first because Leo Cannon type, the one that talked to you about subscribing, hitting that bell earlier, is my favorite type of Leo Cannon type. So you get those cannon shoulders from the full weapon set. This Gunpla Evolution Project kit of the Leo is really streamlined. You get the rifle, the shield, and the Leo, and that's it. You don't get anything else. So to have some diversity, the full weapon set exists. Now, I don't know what's going on here with the Leo or some other kits. I've heard some rumors on the web that some places are claiming they'll be restocked with Leos in October to purchase. I've seen others that say nothing of that sort. So I don't know what's going on. I would like to see more because 2 is great, but 3 you're just getting started. So anyways, I haven't even built one yet, and I just want to have them. So what I like about the Leo kit, and this is most of the modern kits, is that they have English translations already in them. And we'll come back to that. It's just too bad. Really neatly laid out sprue, runner stuff, and we have ourselves this very thin but still very cool instruction booklet. The full weapon set one actually has a kind of more instructions, but it's not colored like this. It's all black and white. It's to build everything else in the Leo as well. I like this one because it really shows you their Gundam or Gunpla evolution route that they're going for with this. So they have everything laid out, as you can see there. And it's colorized quite nicely. And then, of course, you have your instructions in more detail, but everything has English translation, which is very nice. I appreciate that. And on the back here, we have a color guide. Now, color guides are nothing new, but this one happens to be translated, which is nice, just like a lot of the modern kits are. But the reason I even bring that up is because my goal with my Leos is to do the best I can, which is going to be mediocre at best, probably, but I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going to seek to improve and giving these Leos the full Gunpla treatment, from build and seam filling and getting it ready and painting it and color matching and the whole 9 yards, because why not? They're Leos. They're awesome. So with that said, it's really nice that we have this color matching going on. So speaking of color matching, I will be right back one more time to round out this haul. What's going on, everybody? This is the last part of the little haul video here. So the Leos are going to be a project coming, right? I still have the Mega project, Shadow Cat, that I'm working on, and I have small Battletech or standard Battletech models. But in and amongst all of that, I'm going to throw some Gunpla into the mix again, and it's going to be the Leo kits, one at a time. I'm not going to go crazy and build them both at the same time. I mentioned color matching. Now, one of the things that's interesting about Bandai and their color matching guides, for a long time, I don't know how long, but it seems for a very long time, the color guides are referencing Mr. Hobby paints. I don't know what deal they have going on for and when it first started, but the paints they're bringing up are actual paints in the range from Mr. Hobby, depending upon the range, of course. In these more modern kits, they've been really pushing the acrylics. And that's what I have here. I have from Mr. Hobby, GSI Krios, whatever, the Acry Cyan paints. These are water-based acrylics. And these are exactly the colors called for in that color guide. They bring up a lime green. This is a lime green, as you can see underneath. They call for red matter. This is red matter. So At least I think that's how you pronounce it. Yeah. Anyways, so these are the exact colors they called for in that color guide. Now, of course, I have to mix up the ratios of paints together to make the certain colors, but I just really appreciate when a color guide like that is referencing a particular range, not just calling out colors. And that's because different paint companies can do, let's say, generic light green, whatever they call it, they could do them in several different ways. And one paint company's light green and another paint company's light green could be a bit different. So the fact that they're calling out a very particular range is cool. Now, I wish the range was easier to get here in the States, but I did manage to get all the colors I'll need to color match the Leo. And I'm really pleased with that because that should be a lot of fun. Now, I also have white and black in here, which is part of the process. It's part of the colors called for. I probably didn't need to do that, but, and let me know in the comment section if you're the same way, when it comes to mixing up paints, I really try to keep it in-house. So if I have to mix some white with one of these other colors, I'd rather have white from the Acry Scion range, if that's how you say that, than utilize a different company's white with these paints. Will it hurt anything? No, especially if they're both water-based acrylics, it won't really hurt anything. It just makes my brain less annoyed when I do it this way, whenever I can. Now, there are some cases where maybe I can't, but I always seek and strive to try and mix like colors together with like colors. And these are looking pretty good in terms of in the pot and everything. And they were pretty cheap. These colors were consistently half the price of something like Vallejo or Army Painter or Citadel. So that was pretty surprising. Makes me wish you could find it a bit easier. But Mr. Hobby makes good stuff, so I'm looking forward to color matching and mixing it up and eventually using these paints on the Leo. And speaking of Leo, while this is the color guide to do a standard Leo, obviously not a space Leo, I also have the Gundam Assemble Wings of Advance. This little promotional thing they did that I had to get off the internet because I couldn't find any here in the States. Yeah, it has a start deck for Gundam card game, which I know nothing about, and it's all in Japanese, so it's gonna work out well for me. But got a Leo space type, Tallgeese, and Leo ground type. Now I showed this once before in a prior haul video, but I'm showing it again because we have ourselves a ground type Leo. So once these paints are mixed appropriately and color matched, and after the HG Leos are done, I can bust out this guy or at some point during it and paint them up the exact same way, and you have a really nice color matched Leo to the Leo, which I think is pretty cool. Anyways, yeah, so that is everything from this hobby haul. I've heard good things about the Acry Scion paints. If you can get a hold of them yourself, you might want to consider doing so, because the price point that I've seen consistently has been pretty cheap, and can't beat that. If you have any of this stuff yourself, let me know what you think about it. I will be doing that oil wash video in the future. The HG Leo will be getting built not only on, on the side and video, but also on some streams that happen on Twitch. So you can always check out the Twitch channel to see more and when that eventually does happen. And at some point, I'm going to open up Wings of Advance. Let me know if you're interested in that at all. And of course, typical Battletech and other stuff happening as well. I really got to get those models worked on because they're looking at me begging to be painted, and I want to, but things always pop up. So anyways, enough stalling. Thanks so much for stopping by, and until next time, take care.